All right. I am here with an all-star player for the American Ultimate Disc League, Jakeem Polk. He is one of the best defenders in the league. He has played with various teams, but currently, right now, he plays for the Atlanta Hustle. But he's doing more than just being an athlete. He's bringing awareness to the sport, reaching out to communities of color, and definitely trying to expand the awareness of the sport of ultimate. Here I am to welcome Jakeem Polk. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Yes, thank you for joining. I want to talk about the first thing is that I want to bring a little bit of background of Ultimate. You've been playing for 7 years in the league. Tell a little bit of yours. How's that been?
Um, it's been great, just within the 7 years of me playing. I started like from a late start, but I kind of always played sports like football and basketball, which everybody knows like that know me for Ultimate know that I come from a football and basketball background, playing college football at, for Wingate. But like playing those sports and stuff, like kind of like I got introduced to Ultimate in college, later like in my college career, like around my senior year. Like I had like a friend of mine around campus named Will. He came up to me. He was like he used to come to our games and just watch us play. And then he's just amazed with like my athleticism and my skills with being an athlete on the team. And so like, and man, it was cool outside of that too. So he came up to me and was like, hey, after your football, like around my senior year, was like, hey, you should come out and try to play ultimate frisbee. And then I was like, I never heard of ultimate frisbee. What is it? And then he was like, just imagine a floating football. And then I imagined that,
Hmm.
like I was like, okay, it's like a football but with a frisbee, and then they have like a lot of other sports like basketball, soccer, all combined with it. So this picture was painted, but I still didn't understand until I got out there and played, and then exactly what it was a floating disc, and then you could judge it at the highest point, and from that point on was history. I fell in love with the sport.
Yeah, it definitely shows in your highlights how you incorporate football within the sport. And just to give a little background, like AUDL is a mixture for like a mixture of all different sports, from soccer to football to basketball to baseball. It brought that kind of mixture of all the sports combined into one, which is pretty cool. And with that, it's just that you didn't even were aware of it and how someone brought it to you is so awesome. And I want to go into now breaking down like how people like you like yourself, you didn't know more of the sport. You had a friend that brought it to you. And it showed from my research that now of 2020 that only 78% of the percentage of the athletes in the league are male, and 92% identify as white, and 14% identify as Asian, and 6% Latino, and 3% Black. So, with you being in that super small percentage, but you have made such a groundbreaking record within the industry throughout the program. Can you give us a little bit of how you broke that into the industry, and why is it important for you to increase racial awareness in the sport of ultimate?
It's That's definitely a great question. That a lot of people, ask, and with it being, like just like a small percentage of like, like you said, 3% of black people play the sport. Um, and then, as far as like awareness, like me going into the league and seeing that, it wasn't that much diverse. It was kind of it didn't really play a effect on me because I don't really see it as that. I'm aware of it, but I don't like like it ain't gonna mess up my fun of playing the sport and just the vibe of the sport. But as far as like, but it is kind of like welcoming seeing going into a sport, seeing like people of your color or people that you can relate to or even share like relatable conversations like where you from, and it'd be nice to see that. But with me having a background in other sports, playing on different teams with, football is like diverse, basketball is diverse. Just being a part of that type of team is an experience that I got to experience. And then going into the ultimate industry, it's a little bit different, which means that there's a lot of room for growth in the future. So like, as far as what we can do just to increase the racial awareness of that is by engaging with our community. And what I mean by that is like as engaging with our community, we actually doing it now. Like a friend of mine named Shani Crawford, she's like the founder and CEO of Project Diversity. She hosting like a content tour where you get the she selected only black players, black athletes of Ultimate get to form a team, and then they travel around in the different states and they host like a showcase with only black people, just kind of bringing in awareness in different communities. And it's more directed for like college, black athletes. So like we have different platforms, and like Matt Smith, one of our captains, he's pushing the AUDL Inclusion Initiative. That's like one of his big platforms as far as bringing in more diversity and bringing in awareness of the sport. So like I feel like we've taken a step to do that.
And with you being, since the AUII is still new and it started in 2019, what type of growth have you witnessed and said like, wow, like I'm really proud to be in this movement or in this change, since like you've been in it for 7 years? So I'm pretty sure you've seen so much throughout the league. So can you touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Like, since my first year playing on the team, like based off my experience, like my first pro league on the AUDL, I played for Charlotte Express back in 2015, 2016 season. And I want to say I was like, it was only two color people on that team. And that was like, different. That's my first experience. And I compare that over time, like, it's just, you can see the growth and it becoming more diverse and more welcoming to like everyone. And what I mean by that, for example, this year, like the Atlanta Hustle team, and with Atlanta, I love Atlanta because of the community, and it's a lot of culture here in our community. And then with the team that we had this year, we had 7 people of color. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not miscounting, 7 or 8 people of color on the team. That's the most players like of color that I ever played with on the team, and that's kind of huge with it being in the beginning stages of the American Ultimate Disc League. So like that just shows you that it's a lot of growth in the future.
Especially when it's been starting out since 2012. The league started out in 2012 and they've been moving forward since, bringing in awareness. I know y'all celebrated the Black History Month. Off the record, we were interviewing different people in the AUI members or people that were highlighted within the league, which is really good. And that shows that, hey, we're really pushing for this. My other question for you would be, so a little bit away from the growth and awareness, how has it been being a player just in the league overall? Like what is the passion that threw you that was like, wait, I want to do this? Because you've been, I want to do this for however long I can, because you really adapted. The passion in your highlights show like, hey, I'm in this. I love this. Where did that fuel come from?
All right, so that feel like it actually, it actually comes from like, those moments. Like it's like a moment like when you're in a game and then you get a fan base. And then, like, you get like younger kids, after the game, after you played a nice game, they'll come up to you and they'd be like, "Hey, you're my favorite player," like, and just telling you all the things that they enjoyed about your game. Those the type of those are some of the reasons why I keep playing and what I do it for. You know, it just it make a huge impact on others and letting them know that they can do it. Especially like seeing me, saying being the people of color, it lets other people that come from where I come from, like as a minority, let them know that they can pursue and strive for for greatness in the sport too as well. And then another thing, it's like one of my friends, like one of a rookie, AJ Merriman, like one of the greatest, like had a outstanding year this year. He's uh he's a black, you know, Black American, and he came up to me after the game. He was telling me, he said, "Hey, like, dude, man, I was looking forward to meeting you." He was like, "Yeah, I got a story." He was like, "I used to tell people, like, I remember back in high school at lunch, we'd be at the table and I used to tell everybody and show everybody your highlights. And this back in high school. And then he was like, man, like, dude, look at his highlights, man. It just, just bringing the attention and the passion and just, being a role model and just seeing somebody like just showing you off and just like showing that you can do this too. And then he coming up to me, his rookie year, got rookie of the year. Like, that's just admiring and inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you don't even know that they're watching you or you're being seen. Like, even though you know you're being recorded throughout the games, it's recorded on, social platforms. It's still that personal walk up to say, "Hey, I admire you. Can go such and
Yeah.
that's beautiful." And I want to ask a little bit since you were talking about growness and the youth and bringing more people of color, like even the member of the AII, Matt Smith, he has a more, you know, Pacific Islander background. So with so many different, because it's not just only blacks on the team. You all have Asian descent, you all have Hispanic descent, you all have Black African American descent, which is a great thing that you all have that diversity within the communities of color that you all can communicate throughout your own cultural. And my question for you is that AUDL strives about that, especially with the AII inclusion. What is your vision of Ultimate in communities of color and why?
My vision, like, is to like, especially like for like the next generation coming up. Um, like for me, especially as leadership, playing more, like going into a more leadership role and like coaching role, just giving back to the players in our community, and then I like actually like just pushing the popularity of the league. And I say like in the future, like what my vision, what I see is like it being like more scholarships for like ultimate, for like ultimate players to go to college, or even intramural ultimate at like HBCU, like promoting that at those schools so it could be more exposable to like the urban community. Um, and then another vision is like participating in like festivals, holiday events, parades, like just walking the parades, throwing out like little baby disc with the schedule on there, just like being more involved and engaged with our community. So like that's like my overall vision, and just getting to that point. That way, the sport would be more welcoming and it'll be way more diversity because a lot of people don't know about it.
Would you say that one challenge in the league that it may face is that it's an expensive sport for the youth versus unlike versus additional sports like basketball, or football, or track? Even though those are they cost as well, but would you say it takes a certain price budget in order for a household to put their child within the league?
Yeah, I strongly agree that expense and financial holdbacks is like a huge effect on like a lot of like people of like myself or a minority, like don't play because they can't afford the traveling expenses, or like, before the AUDL even started, like the AUDL, well, Ultimate Frisbee been around for like since 1962, so for a long time. But club is like huge, and then if you want to play top tier, and if you're a minority, that could be a problem because you can't, some parents can't afford to pay for plane tickets for these, people, the kids to travel to these tournaments. It could be really pricey. But now that they done started the AUDL organization, it's more accessible for people like me, that can just show off their skills at a higher tier and not have to worry about a financial holdback or anything. So like, expense does play a huge role and has been a huge effect on why the sport is not as diverse as it could be. Good question.
And then my question, well, I want to say a statement because you have on AUDL TV one of your best highlights where you are smashing, defending, like you are going all in. Like from your growth from back then in 2017, they've been highlighting you. You were featured on the Color of Ultimate, the Santa Monica Beach. You're on the top tier, throwing it, flying, flipping over. That is so great. But with every upgrade comes responsibility. You have the title of an all-star league. That's not everyone has that kind of title. So with that title, what responsibilities do you feel like you carry in the league?
As far as the title, I would say like, just being an influence of the league and just being seen as like a role model, and then carrying like certain like characteristics of a role model, like leadership, being an influence, engaging in your community with your fan base, and then actually showing people your process and sharing people your story too as well, so they can see the deeper meaning behind you being an athlete on the field. They can see you, what you do outside of the field too as well, with you being a big influence of the league. So like I definitely see that as a big responsibility that comes with that, just like showing that leadership, uh, being more involved like with clinics with the youth, giving feedback, helping out the growth, doing like public speeches to communities, introducing the sport to like, your communities around you that you live in. Like those all type of responsibility that comes with being a star in the league. Unless I'm dunking on people,
Yeah.
it's just as much as I'm like, helping out somebody else, so they can start, doing the same thing as well.
Are you currently in the works of working on someone else? Do you mind disclosing? Are you in the works of working with someone in the community right now, off the court?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, like oh yeah, like I'm always like involved. Like I play, like I scrimmage against like some of the college teams within the Metro Atlanta area. Like we have scrimmages, like group minis. We play like a lot of minis. We run practice throughout the weeks. Um, like, and then I get to get connected with the players around, in these colleges and get to learn them. And of course they see me as a top tier player and a role model. They have questions they want to ask me, like them. So like, yeah, I'm involved and I'm engaged
Helping them.
and I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got to witness one of the games, so it's definitely you do more than just bringing out. I'm a witness to say because I did not know anything about Ultimate until you introduced it to me. And it's like, hey, you all need to come to my meet. So that's definitely you are doing the work even when you don't notice that you are doing the work, and that's something that's definitely needed. And then off the court, you said you're trying to do more than just be this all-star athlete. AUDL is still up and coming, but they've done so much in such little time. They're bringing, college opportunities, high schoolers to be more aware of it. Their mission is to bring social and diversity within the sport overall. What would you say that your mission aligns with that, or personally, what is your mission currently with Ultimate, and do you have a mission that you want to do after Ultimate?
Yeah, I definitely would say that my mission is to align with that, with the push, and I support like all the platforms that we have, that everybody have going on, and it's more similar to my vision, and I definitely like see in the future, of it being like more diverse, more diversity, more high school teams, more middle school teams. Like I'm like for all that, like because it's the growth and the expansion of the sport, and then it just like it just increases everything in all aspects of the sport too as well. Um, but yeah, so like, and then your last question was, can you ask me the last question again? What was that?
Yeah, what is your mission?
My mission.
And then even past Ultimate, like off the court, or once you finish with Ultimate. That's actually, I'm gonna plug in another question. When do you want? Are you still in the works doing another 7+ years of Ultimate, or what's your mission with Ultimate? Since you've done already so much.
Yeah, you know, I feel like I got a lot of improvement. If I was playing a sport, like if I would have started playing a sport, like if I when I was in middle school, like I would feel fulfilled, because I would like develop into like my peak by then. But I feel like since I started like 7 years ago, which I feel like there's still more room to grow for your peak. And then I feel good. So as long as I stay healthy and injured free, I play as long as I can, just to stay in shape. And ultimate is just such a vibe. And it's like you get to travel to different states and different tournaments. And then, after the tournament, since you already traveling, you can explore a little bit. So like you getting the two for both worlds. Um, and then like another thing is like, like they have masters, like where 33, like once you turn 33, you can play 33 and up, 33, like masters. So you can continue to play at a top tier, but like around people your age too as well. So like you could continue that if you want to do that, but it all depends. Like I may stop playing 7 years. Like 7 years may be my draw, and then after that I focus more on like bringing up the next generation and getting them ready for their shot. For their journey.
Right. So still in the works. You feel like you have still more to go.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it big. Like I'm gonna like because I have a lot of like with me playing football and all these other sports, like I don't learn a lot of skills and just training skills, like as far as speed, jumping, how to get fast, or even how to face adversity. So like that's a lot of knowledge, and that's a lot of it'd be kind of wasted if I don't give that back to somebody, after I like live this journey of being an ultimate frisbee player. I feel like I can help somebody, advance their game.
That is awesome. That's very true because when you get up to a point, you want to make sure you are passing the baton down, and that's
Mm.
always important because you want to teach one, each one teach one. So,
Yeah.
and then my last question for you is, I'll plug in another one, is how are players chosen on teams, and how did you get recruited? Because you played at another team before coming to Atlanta. So can you give us a little background on that?
How players are chosen. So basically, um, like how like my first time joining the league. This is how I worked my way up of becoming a in AUDL. So basically, I come from a small Division 2 school, so not a lot of exposure as far as like for ultimate players, nobody really don't really know who you are. So you have to like, I guess, create a name for yourself. So like playing at these small tournaments, I created a name for myself, and then I play in local leagues, like in the Charlotte area where I went to college at, and then I made a name for myself within the community, and then that's when like I guess like pro players start to, hey, you heard about this kid, this guy named Jakeem Pope that played football at Wingate, and then one of my friends had told me this before I even knew there was a pro league. He said there's actually a professional team. They having tryouts. They having a combine, and I was like, a combine, like a tryout.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, they hosted it in Charlotte. You should go to it. So he gave me the information, and I was like, I don't know. I can't throw like that, you know. It's like I was
You're-
like,
I'm
these
not
people
as
like
big
they
yet.
pro. Yeah. So I was like, these pros, man, I need to stay in my lane. So they was like, no, just go, just show off your 40, show off your athleticism, do what you do, play defense. And then I went out there and I did that. I did what I followed my strength, did what I was great at. And, you know, they gave me a shot, I just went out there, made some like highlight defensive plays, just hustling, just like, doing what I was good at.
Mhm.
And then running the 40-yard, did high jump. The high jump just kind of like blew everybody heads off. It was like, oh, you jumped like a 39, 40 inch.
Yeah.
And that was like,
Mhm.
so like that kind of just brought a lot of attention and then a lot of hype too. So like that was like one of my reasons why I got picked on the team. And at these tryouts, it's like 100 and 150 players come to these tryouts. Um, so like,
That's impressive, especially when that many people come out. That's impressive. And one more question to close it out. What top advice do you have for urban communities and communities of color who admire you or may not even know about ultimate frisbee? What advice or tips do you had to share or feel like that's needed within the AUDL League?
advice to like the urban community,
Hmm.
just I guess just like come out and just watch, come out and to a game, like an AUDL game. It's like right up the street. It's right in the city. um and it's like, for those who don't know what it is, this is what I tell people, like they ask like, what is ultimate? Oh, like explain it to me, and I want to come watch a game. And then I'm like, okay, so I explain it to them, the picture, and then I'm like, okay, so whatever your expectation of it, multiply that times 10. It's that much, it's gonna be that much better. Uh, as far as what you expect, because when you expect ultimate frisbee, if you never heard of it, you confuse it with something else, or you don't think as highly of it, until you come to the game. Like, oh, okay, that's nice. I like the way they throw a flick. I like the way they throw a hammer. He's fast. I like the way they caught that. Like, it's so many highlights that'll keep you on your feet and your toes and engage. And then it's such a vibe too as well. So like the advice I give to like the urban community is just come check it out. Like, just follow the hustle. Like Atlanta, is we trying to put Atlanta on the map. We want our community to be big at sports, So like, you know, we'll do whatever we take to get people to come out and support us, and it's welcoming to everybody. Like, you know,
That's good.
that's
Yeah.
my take.
Yeah. I like that because it is definitely bringing a more awareness and with the AUDL and what they're doing and you taking on your responsibility as not only just an all-star athlete but also bringing out youth, explaining them, trying to get them excited and engaged is so good. And you all are continuing your work and you are going to continue your work for sure. You have time still in the league, and I just want to appreciate and say thank you for taking the time out for this interview. And man, that is a close.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was great.